Hi, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Stellina. Together, we are moms to 5 children, including 2 sets of twins.
At Tweet Dreams, we are passionate about helping families achieve the peaceful night's rest they deserve because we were formerly overwhelmed and sleep deprived ourselves.
We love nothing more than helping families achieve their specific sleep goals,
so the whole family can be rested and thriving.
On this podcast, you'll not just hear about sleep-related topics. We'll chat about how it started,
where we are today,
and the experiences that have shaped us as mothers of twins.
We hope you'll enjoy listening to the ups and downs,
the highs and lows, and everything in between.
Hi there. Welcome back to another episode of Twin Life with Tweet Dreams. It's your hosts, Lindsay and Stellina. Okay, today we're going to talk about a topic that just seems really sort of left field, but I've been struggling with it lately. Stellina and I have been talking about it, and we're going to chat about it today with you. Okay. I don't even know if this is a word, but we're going to talk about overconsumption. And for me, it's been really stressing me out lately. I've been texting Stellina on WhatsApp, and I'm having like a fit over toys in the house. My husband's going through this phase of like organization. I don't know if like organization's on his like algorithm on Instagram, but he's like, oh, like look at this reel, and it shows you how to like keep your produce, more fresh. And I'm like, cool. Like I'm just trying to like breathe oxygen over here, leave me alone, And so we're just in this state of also sort of remodeling our house in a little bit of a way. So anytime we do that, we have to go through our stuff. So I'm feeling really anxious in a couple of different ways. Toys, for one, and what we do with our stuff once we're done with it, specifically clothing, okay? And also like stuff they're bringing home from school, art supplies, books. And clothing is a big one for me because, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it, but in your head, you might just be like, oh, I'm going to donate it. Okay. Well, textiles in the US is actually a big problem. And I learned this from a friend of mine who went to fashion school for fashion design. And she also worked at a local community college where she was constantly shopping at the Goodwills and the Salvation Armies, etc. And everything that we drop off there doesn't go on the shelf. It doesn't get put on a hanger, right? And so I know in our mind, we're doing that good deed, but probably most of it still ends up in a landfill. So that's my little rant with that. It really kind of is just I'm an Aquarius, so I don't know if that's part of my ingrained nature that I worry about the earth and everything that we're just dumping onto it. So even yesterday, I went through my closet because if I order new clothes, or I'm pretty good at saying if I didn't, so we're almost through the winter season, right? I'm going to go look back at my sweaters and be like, did I wear that this year? Why didn't I wear it? Does it not fit well? Is it out of style? Do I not like the color? So usually if I'm ordering new stuff for myself, I'm making a pile. But even when that pile is there in a bag or a tote, I'm still feeling pretty guilty about it. Okay. When it comes to kids and everything that we consume, Stellina, please tell me, you're at TJ Maxx every other day, all right? So I'm going to call you out on that.
Guilty.
And I mean, our homes are bigger than they once were. We've got storage areas, we've got places to put things, but toys with kids is difficult because, especially for mine, the toys that we have, they're old news. I mean, we go to another person's house. Oh my God, Mom, she's got a Barbie dream house and she's got this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, you guys have a frozen castle that you literally never play with. But it's that new and fun. But when it sits at your house, shoot, forget about it.
Mm-hmm. I know.
So with 3 kids, you're in that age of oh, shiny object kind of thing, right? What's going on with your anxiety and your overconsumption?
Okay. Well, I'll admit it. I like to shop, okay, but I like to look for good deals. So, I'll admit that maybe I buy my kids more stuff than they truly need, right? Because I also have that kind of struggle in my mind, what do we need here, right? What do we actually need? Because I don't know about you, but kind of like what you just said, I'll get my kids all these toys and the stuff that seems like on the outside they'll love it, but what are they really playing with at my house? Blankets. Blankets is a huge one. They play Ghost with blankets. They pretend the blanket is a boat. Like, they have such a great imagination, right? Okay, blanket, I didn't even buy it. It was made by somebody. Tupperware, stuff like that they can just pretend, put their stuffed animals in it, pretend it's a bathtub, things of that nature. Washing dishes, okay, or pretending to wash dishes in my kitchen sink. They really like the stuff that isn't toys a lot of the time. And the toys, sure, they're there. They'll play with them, like the play kitchen, the stuffed animals, the balls, tennis rackets, stuff like that. Well, maybe not tennis rackets inside, but most of those things that I just said were inside toys, and I'll see them playing with it. The other stuff, I completely agree. It's like, a one and done situation, or maybe like they'll play with it for, a couple of days to weeks, and then I'm like left with this thing that's just like taking up space and I don't know what to do with it. So initially when I had the twins, I was plus or minus going to have another baby. So I decided to keep a lot of stuff that I would have maybe gotten rid of if the twins were the only kids. So I decided to keep some stuff because I wasn't sure if I was going to have another baby. Lo and behold, we had another baby. So I was glad that I didn't get rid of any of those, like, baby stuff like rattles and, those kind of toys. So we kept those. What I will say about the toys, something I do, and we are fortunate enough to have like a very large play area space. It's right off of my kitchen. I created it myself. It's gone through a lot of evolution. Used to be a family room. There's no longer a couch in this room. My husband is still very upset about the fact that I took the couch out, but I'm all about safety first, okay, guys? So the couch is not there anymore. I'm always doing a toy audit, what I like to say in my brain, right? So I'm always going through like, okay, have I seen my kids play with this toy or this group of toys recently? If I haven't, I'll try and like take those toys out of the bottom of the basket, if you will, and put them more on the top. I do kind of like a test. Okay, now they see these toys. Do they want to play with them? Are they not playing with them? If they're not playing with them anymore, I move them down to my basement and they go into a pile where they're either going to go to a consignment shop, Facebook Marketplace, or eventually donation. Okay, so that's kind of how I run it. And I do the same thing with clothing too. Obviously, when the clothing doesn't fit anymore, that's kind of a different story. It has to go to consignment or donation, or maybe Facebook Marketplace, depending. So that's kind of like the system that I have right now. And it works for me because even though I kind of admitted, I love shopping, I like going to TJ Maxx and finding deals and stuff, because I have 3 kids, I'm not buying my kids expensive stuff, okay? Like, my kids don't have designer things. I mean, their stuff is from TJ Maxx because I love TJ Maxx. Like, you can find Under Armour, Nike, like, really cute stuff. And sometimes I am lucky enough to find 2 of it if it's for my twins. But yeah, I don't like to spend a lot of money on it because of the reasons that I just told you, right? For clothes, they outgrow the clothes so incredibly fast and the clothes shrink. Okay. So I'm not spending a lot of money on clothes for my children. A. And B, like we just talked about for the toys, sometimes they play with it for a couple minutes, couple days, and then it's done with, right? So I'm lucky enough to have a consignment store close to my house. They take children's clothing, toys, and adults things as well, but most of my boxes to them are children's things. I need to make an appointment. I've become friendly with the owner now because I've been there so many times. She'll take about 30 items every time I go there, and I need to make an appointment and do that. And then I'll get some sort of payment or cash back once she sells it. So it's a 50-50 split. So at least I feel like when I do that, it's very easy for me, right? I just separate what I'm going to give her. She goes through it. She'll take most of it usually, and then I get something back. Okay. So at least I feel like, well, my kids played with this for some amount of time. Now it's time to go to another home, and I'm getting something back for this, even though it's definitely not what we paid for it. That's okay. The second thing I'll do is Facebook Marketplace. And obviously this takes a little bit more effort, right? Because I have to take pictures of things. I have to post them. I have to decide like what's really worth posting, what's not worth posting. Is it in good condition? I'll have to go meet somebody to, do the trade. So that obviously takes more work. So I'll do that with higher price items and a lot of, maybe baby items. Like I've sold car seats and strollers and stuff like that are like larger ticket items that I really wouldn't feel comfortable donating if I can get something back because I paid a lot for it.
Yeah, I was able to resell a lot of my big ticket items, pack and plays,
Mm-hmm.
strollers, bikes, definitely worth it to ward off the scammers on Facebook Marketplace, because there are people,
Mm-hmm.
especially other twin moms, who are like, yes, I need two of those, and
Right.
I found that definitely to be worth it.
Right. So I definitely think it's worth it for the larger ticket items. And I have done some smaller items. I'm kind of going through this in my house right now. I'm kind of going through like a purge sort of thing. I'm organizing the toys, seeing what we need to get rid of, seeing what piles they need to go in. And I did take some photos of some groups of toys, right? So they have a ton of stuffed animals, and I brought some downstairs that they just don't like anymore. They don't play with, but they're in really good condition. Okay. So I took a picture of like this group of stuffed toys and I put it up for some amount of money, maybe like $20 or $30, right? Easily like probably a $75 worth value of stuffed toys when you think about the fact that I have two of some of them. And I'm just going to take my chances. Like, these stuffed toys are not bothering me in the basement right now. I'll see, if somebody wants to come grab them, fine. If it's like too long for me, I don't even know what too long is. Like, if they're on for like 6 months or something and nobody wants them, then I'll probably just go ahead and donate them, right? For donating, usually I'll first look for somebody I know that I can give the clothes to. So if I know somebody that had a child, around the same age as mine, maybe a little bit younger, where the clothes or the toys make sense, I'll reach out to them. I also have a house cleaner that comes every once in a while who has a couple kids who are younger, and I'll show her. I'll be like, hey, these don't fit my son anymore. Do you want them? Do you need them? Sometimes she'll say yes, sometimes she'll say no. So that, I feel like, makes me kind of feel better. Kind of like what you said when you go drop something off at Salvation Army. Okay, here's a bag. Like, good luck. Do whatever you want with this stuff. Who knows what really happens to it? I'd like to think that people are wearing those things, but at least when I give it to somebody I know, I'm like, okay, I I trust that maybe you're going to wear some of this stuff or have your child wear some of this stuff, because people have given us hand-me-downs for my son, and I'll send them pictures, be like, oh, like, did so
Yeah.
and so wear this before? Do you remember this? And when people do that for me, I don't know. I think it's cute. I feel better. I'm like, oh, good. Like, this thing is getting used.
Hey, twin mom, we see you. When we say we get it, we really do. At Tweet Dreams, we are a team of sleep consultants who are also raising twins at home. Our twin sleep coaching packages are specifically tailored to your babies, making the journey of teaching independent sleep as stress-free as possible. Trust our years of experience working with twins so that you can feel relieved that the answers lie with us. Start by booking your free discovery call to learn more, because we can't wait to meet you and help you with your sleep goals. You can find the link to book your call in the show notes.
So that's kind of just like how I operate. I will say, as much as I love shopping and getting stuff, I hate clutter, and I hate having stuff that we don't use or need around. So I'll get into these spurts where I'll just start organizing, kind of probably like what your husband's doing right now. I just purchased a bunch of clear containers. I'm really trying to go through their blocks and magnetiles and stuff like that, and just kind of have them separated in a way that makes sense, in a way that they can play more easily, because I feel like sometimes having too much stuff kind of hinders their play as well, because and I know this, I know this for a fact, if there's too much, they're overwhelmed, they don't know what to play with. We've just acquired all these things, which we're so fortunate, that we live this life where people are giving us gifts and, Christmas and birthday and maybe I see something and I pick it up. And at the end of the day, it's like, what do they like? What are they using? What is stimulating them, whether it's imaginative play or educational play, and what is just sitting there,
Collecting
making
dust.
noise and lights and collecting dust and just annoying me. Everybody has those annoying toys in their house. Okay. I've definitely chucked some out. I've taken batteries out of things. I can't. So as much as I love, to provide my children with these things, I also hate clutter, and I hate not using the things that they have. So it's like a constant battle between me and myself and whether or not my children are using stuff. And it's a work in progress. Speaking with people that have children that are older, it's never ending really. But what people have told me is to kind of do what I'm doing, go through it as much as you can, because if you wait till your kids are 10, 11, 12, 15, whatever, and you never went through their baby stuff, you're going to have a lot of work to do. And,
Yeah.
props to people who can like, keep stuff organized and don't mind keeping all that stuff around. I definitely mind. Like I keep stuff that's sentimental, that has sentimental value. Like I'll probably keep all their loveys because they're their first loveys and I can't ever see myself getting rid of those things. But other stuff, I'm just like, let's give it another home if somebody's going to use it. Okay. Like that's just how I run it at my house. What do you guys do?
Um, I'm learning from my, past experiences and upbringing. Like I said, my husband's reorganizing our like storage area downstairs, and my mother did like a big purge at her house. I'm gonna say like 2 years ago, and she was like, "Lindsay, I'm not keeping any of your stuff anymore." Okay, which hello, she shouldn't have to. But I also think those generations, before us and things like that, it was you held on to like the sentimental pieces, right? So I'm not lying that I went through some of my stuff, and I was a big journaler. I had a lot of diaries. I had a lot of emotional feelings, like when I was a teenager. And so I was reading through some of those, and I'm like, I don't need to keep this, so I'm throwing that stuff away. So with my kids, I definitely wanted to do baby books for them. I'm like definitely big into photos. I loved looking at photos when I was a kid. So I definitely focused on doing baby books. We kept a couple things from like the hospital, like their first little swaddle blankets and maybe their little hats. My daughter also had clubfoot, so we actually kept all of her casts and
I would have done that too.
all of her little boots, and that's fine. Like that's hers, and she can do with that what she wants. Maybe she'll have a child with clubfoot. I don't even know. So, but no, I mean, my biggest issue is clothing. And I'm going to come back to that because I feel like with twins, we have two of everything. And at the beginning, that seems easy, right? Because you're like, oh, they wear the same things, they're the same size. And I can speak to that because I have girls or same sex. You have same sex twins. Let's say you had a boy girl. That's already going to be difficult, right? Boy clothes, girl clothes, they're different sizes, etc. So two of everything, you know, they wear it differently. Like one of my daughters is like not neat when she eats, so like her stuff gets stained. The other one keeps it clean. But now that my daughters are 6, they're different sizes. They have their feet are starting to become different sizes. I'm like, oh no, oh my god, And so I'm kind of dealing with some of that. But it's mostly just clothing and how quickly they outgrow it. Okay, we get a lot of our clothes. I'm just going to say I really don't shop a lot at all for my kids because we know a family who we purchase like a tote of clothes after every season. And these twins must have like a really, really, really extensive social life because there's sundresses, there's, cute little sweaters and Christmas outfits, like all of this stuff. And I'm like, my kids are generally just like in play clothes. Like we definitely have
Same.
some fancier items, but not at the level that this mom did. And so then I'm like, what do I do with all of this stuff? And so, yeah, my biggest task, I think this year, especially with this new upstairs remodel that we're doing, is their closets. Like it's just not my jam. It's overwhelming. Like I had to call my mom over and be like, will you help me like organize their clothes? Because this is just too much. And yeah, like I don't like clutter, just like you don't either. And some people are really like type A, and we have 3 junk drawers. Like I'm just feeling overwhelmed by it all and also overwhelmed about getting rid of stuff. So I'm like stuck in this weird spot. Can anybody else relate to me right now?
I know it's so hard with the clothes. It's, until they're older and their sizes don't change as frequently, I think it's something we're going to go through. And most parents, can agree that that's just the fact of life when you have growing, healthy children. So,
And
it
I
can be a
mean,
good thing.
I'm not growing over here and I'm swapping out my wardrobe every year and a half, like I just ordered a bunch of stuff from that fitness place that you told me about.
Hmm.
And I ordered a bunch of cute stuff from Abercrombie. And I'm like, okay, I feel really guilty about this order I just placed. So I went through my closet and I got rid of like, I'm going to say like 12 things, like that just makes me feel better, I guess. But is it better? I don't know.
I need to go through my own closet because as much as I hate clutter too, I don't know why I hold on to some things. Like some things I know I'm probably not going to wear them. Like I have stuff from when I was working a corporate job and I'll just keep it because I'm like, who knows if I go on an interview or I need something like, very professional and businessy and it's still in great condition and it fits. But like, maybe we can have somebody on the podcast at some point. So if anybody like has some organizational business, because I've seen these and I've heard of them, they exist. And I'd like to go into the science of like why people hold on to things, why they don't, how they organize the things that they hold on to but don't use, what makes sense. There was that show, I forget what it's called right now, but it was that show that the quote was called
Spark Joy.
Does it Spark Joy?
Yeah,
one.
No, it's Marie Kondo. And
yes, that one.
I was obsessed with watching that because it was like all these people just held on to all this stuff. And it's like, when was the last time you used that? And she came up with some really crafty ways to repurpose things, to give them a different home, a good home, whatever. Some of this stuff is trash though, guys. But I just feel like we're in an overconsumed country. Like I genuinely feel that way. And especially when it comes to screens. And honestly, guys, I could talk all day about screens and we're going to do a different episode on that because I'm sort of experiencing a little bit of that in my house. And I'd love to just chat about it. So yeah, Marie Kondo, do you want to come on the episode? Do you want to come on our podcast? Okay, that's all we just wanted to brain dump this topic. If you can relate, let us know. With twins, there's just so much stuff. Do we need 2 of everything? I don't know. Especially as they get older, it gets a little bit more difficult, but maybe a little bit easier because my twins are coming into different things. And so she's into that. We don't necessarily have to be same, right?
I can't wait for that because right now I do have 2 of a lot of things. And honestly, most of the time it's to prevent fighting. Well, she has that and I don't have it. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, I'm just going to save myself here and just get 2 of it.
Yeah. And I mean, definitely some of that will go away. But I even just said, like at 6 years old, I'm still dealing with so much competitive behavior, not necessarily even with stuff, with my attention, my husband's attention, friends, the whole bit, guys. So, oh my God, bigger kids, bigger problems, a little bit over here. Okay, we'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for listening today. This was definitely something we wanted to chat about, and we'll catch you next week. Thank you so much for listening. We've got a little village of people who are, downloading our episodes every week, and we're going to continue to show up for you guys because we seriously love it. Okay, we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.
If you liked this episode and conversation, be sure to leave a review or rating. Share it with a friend on social media or a family member. It's our goal to reach as many parents of multiples and singletons alike. You're not alone in your parenting journey. If you'd like to hear about a specific topic or have an episode idea, please feel free to message us. We're here to help.